Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today we're tackling something really fundamental, fertility. It's, close to the hearts of many.
Absolutely.
We've got some really interesting info that gets right down to the cellular level, giving us, crucial insights into reproductive health.
hmm
And if you're like me, you want to understand what's going on without getting bogged down in, heavy science speak.
Exactly. And that's the point. We're focusing on three key players.
Yeah.
Malondialdehyde, superoxide dismutase, and catalase.
Okay.
Think of malondialdehyde, let's call it MDA for short maybe, as a sign of cellular damage. A bit like rust on metal.
Okay, like rust. Got it. MDA is the rust.
Yeah.
And the other two, superoxide dismutase and catalase.
Right. SOD and CD. They're like the body's cleanup crew, the protectors. They defend our cells against harmful reactive compounds.
Okay, so MDA means damage, SOD and satiate protect. But how exactly does this trio, tie into fertility, into actually conceiving?
That's the core question, isn't it?
Yeah. Our goal today is really to unpack how the balance or imbalance of these substances affects sperm and egg health.
And importantly, to look at ways we might be able to sort of support that balance.
Right. Our sources look into some really interesting avenues, things like acupuncture, herbal medicine.
Diet, lifestyle changes, even specific nutraceuticals. And there's some solid research behind these ideas we can touch on.
Okay, so where do we start? To really get this, I guess we need to understand the context first.
Exactly. We need to talk about reactive oxygen species, or ROS. You hear that term a lot.
ROS, right.
So our bodies naturally produce these ROS. They're just byproducts of, normal metabolism, cells doing their jobs.
So they're not automatically bad then?
Not at all. Actually, in small controlled amounts, ROS play vital roles in fertility. Things like helping sperm mature properly and even helping with the egg fertilization process itself.
Okay. So a little bit is good, even necessary. When does it flip? When do ROS become a problem?
It's all about balance, like you said.
Yeah.
The trouble starts when you have an excess of ROS.
Yeah.
Too many of them overwhelming the body's defenses.
And that leads to?
That leads to a condition called oxidative stress. And this is where MDA, that rust marker, comes back into the picture. High MDA levels tell us there's significant oxidative damage happening.
Okay.
And it's this imbalance, high MDA and low levels of our protective enzymes, SOD and CA, that really starts to cause problems, especially for sperm.
Right. Tell me more about that. What specifically happens to sperm when there's too much oxidative stress?
Well, sperm are particularly vulnerable. Their outer membranes have a lot of these things called polyunsaturated fatty acids.
Okay.
And those fats are, unfortunately, really susceptible to damage from excess ROS. They're easy targets. This attack causes something called lipid peroxidation. Essentially, the fats in the membrane get damaged, oxidized. And MDA is a keen sign that this is happening.
And what does that damage do to the sperm?
It weakens the sperm membrane. This directly affects their ability to swim.
Yeah.
You get reduced motility. And maybe even more critically, it can damage the sperm's DNA.
Wow. So it hits their movement and the genetic package they're carrying.
Precisely. It's a serious issue. There was a study back in 2006, McCann and colleagues, that showed a clear link. Higher MDA in semen correlated directly with lower sperm counts and poor motility. It was a significant factor in male infertility.
And if the SOD and CACAT levels are low at the same time?
Then the sperm are basically defenseless. They lack that natural shield against the ROS attack.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, so that's the impact on sperm. What about eggs? Are they facing similar challenges from this imbalance?
Unfortunately, yes. Eggs are definitely not immune to oxidative stress. The consequences can be just as significant for female fertility.
How so?
Well, much like with sperm, too many ROS can damage the egg's DNA, but it can also harm other critical parts of the egg cell, the mitochondria for energy, other structures.
And this affects?
This directly impacts the egg's ability to be fertilized successfully. And even if fertilization does happen, the resulting embryo might struggle to develop properly.
So it can affect not just getting pregnant, but staying pregnant too, the viability.
Exactly. And again, if the antioxidant defenses in the ovaries, the levels of SOD and CACAT are low, the egg's much more vulnerable. This could lead to fertilization failure or, sadly, early pregnancy loss. There's research, like a 2012 study by Agrawal's group, that clearly highlights how oxidative stress negatively impacts oocyte quality, egg quality, and overall female fertility.
Okay, so we've really established the problem here, this MDA-SOD C-hat imbalance, the resulting oxidative stress. It's bad news for both sperm and eggs.
It really is a key factor.
So let's shift gears. What can be done? Our sources mentioned several approaches. Let's start with acupuncture. I have to say, that one feels a bit unexpected in this context.
I get that. It might seem like a leap from cellular biochemistry, but there's actually a growing body of evidence suggesting it can be helpful.
Well, what's the proposed mechanism?
The main idea is that acupuncture might help reduce oxidative stress in a few ways. One thought is it improves blood flow, specifically to the reproductive organs.
Okay, better blood flow means.
Well, better delivery of nutrients and oxygen, and maybe more efficient removal of waste products, including some of those harmful ROS byproducts, at a cellular level. It could also help reduce inflammation.
Interesting.
Another angle is that acupuncture might help regulate stress hormones, like cortisol. And we know chronic stress can definitely ramp up ROS production.
So better blood flow could mean a healthier local environment for sperm production in the testes.
Right.
And for egg development in the ovaries.
That's the theory. Better ovarian blood flow could contribute to improved egg quality. And there's some research to back this up. A 2018 study, Siderman and colleagues, they found acupuncture actually improved several sperm parameters in men. And interestingly, their analysis suggested this improvement was linked to reduced oxidative stress markers and, crucially, increased activity of SOD and CYP.
Wow. So, a measurable biochemical shift potentially linked to acupuncture. That's quite something, not just relaxation then.
It seems there might be more going on at a physiological level.
Okay. What about herbal medicine? That feels a bit more traditional, maybe intuitive in terms of natural compounds.
Absolutely. And that's largely the premise. Many traditional herbs are packed with naturally occurring antioxidant compounds. Think flavonoids, polyphenols.
Okay.
These compounds can act like scavengers, directly neutralizing those damaging ROS. And by doing that, they can help lower MDA levels and potentially support the body's own SOD and CS systems.
So the herbs are kind of bringing reinforcements to the body's natural defense team?
That's a good way to put it, yeah. By helping shield cells from oxidative damage and maybe even helping with hormonal balance in some cases, certain herbs might contribute to better sperm motility or egg quality.
Is there research on this too?
Yes. For instance, a 2014 study by Tavilzadeh and his team found that certain herbal extracts improved sperm parameters in men experiencing infertility. And they specifically linked this improvement to a reduction in oxidative stress markers.
That sounds promising. But I imagine it's crucial to know which herbs and how much. It's not just grab anything off the shelf.
Oh, absolutely not. That's a really critical point. Herbs can be potent. It's really essential to work with a qualified practitioner, like a clinical herbalist or a naturopathic doctor trained in botanical medicine.
Why is that so important?
Well, quality and potency vary wildly. Plus, herbs can interact with each other, or with prescription medications. You need someone who understands those complexities and can recommend appropriately and safely.
Right, safety first. Makes perfect sense. Okay, let's move on to something we arguably have the most direct control over: diet and lifestyle. How can we leverage those to combat oxidative stress for fertility?
This area is huge, really foundational. What we eat, how we live, it dramatically impacts our oxidative balance.
So what's the advice? What should we eat more of?
The big focus is on antioxidant-rich foods. We're talking loads of colorful fruits and vegetables. Berries are fantastic: blueberries, raspberries packed with antioxidants, leafy greens like spinach and kale, nuts and seeds.
Okay, the usual healthy suspects.
Pretty much. And fatty fish like salmon or mackerel are great too for their omega-3 fatty acids, which have anti-inflammatory effects that can help counter oxidative stress.
Is there specific evidence linking this kind of diet to fertility markers?
Yes, definitely. A 2017 study by Salas Hueros, for example, looked at men following a Mediterranean-style diet rich in fruits, vegetables, fish, healthy fats. They found it improved sperm quality, and the researchers suggested this was likely due to reducing oxidative damage.
So eating the rainbow really does help fight that cellular rust. What about on the flip side? What should we limit or avoid?
Yeah, the avoidance list is important too. Primarily, you want to limit processed foods, especially those high in unhealthy fats, trans fats, excessive saturated fats, and loads of added sugar.
Why are those so bad in this context?
These kinds of foods tend to promote inflammation and can actually increase the production of ROS in the body while offering very little in terms of protective antioxidants. This can push that balance towards oxidative stress and higher MDA levels. A 2019 study by Ritchie supports this link.
Okay, minimize the junk food. Got it. What about exercise? It's generally good for us, right?
Yes, moderate exercise is definitely beneficial. Things like brisk walking, swimming, cycling, yoga, they can actually help boost our body's own antioxidant enzyme activity and reduce overall stress levels.
But is there a catch? Can you overdo it?
There is, actually. It's about finding the right balance. Very intense, prolonged exercise can sometimes paradoxically generate more ROS and temporarily increase oxidative stress. A 2015 study by Gaskins touched on this. So moderation is key.
Interesting. Not too little, not too much. Goldilocks exercise.
Kinda, yeah.
And stress. We mentioned it with acupuncture. How does general stress management fit in?
It's crucial. Chronic stress keeps our bodies in a state of high alert, which involves inflammatory processes that generate more ROS. Finding healthy ways to manage stress is really important.
Like what?
Practices like meditation, mindfulness, deep breathing exercises, spending time in nature, these can all help lower stress hormones and support the body's antioxidant defenses. There's research, like work by Appel in 2013, showing these practices can have positive effects at a cellular level.
So chilling out is actually good for your fertility cells.
In a nutshell, yes. And finally, we have to talk about toxins.
Environmental exposures?
Exactly. Things like cigarette smoke, a huge source of ROS, excessive alcohol consumption, exposure to environmental pollutants, pesticides. These all significantly increase the oxidative burden on the body and can elevate MDA.
So avoiding those is key.
Absolutely critical. Quitting smoking is one of the best things someone can do, limiting alcohol intake, being mindful of environmental exposures where possible. Research, like a 2020 paper by Sharma's group, really underscores these negative impacts.
Okay, so fundamentally all these diet and lifestyle changes, eating well, moving moderately, managing stress, avoiding toxins they work by, what? Supplying antioxidants and reducing the ROS load.
Precisely. They provide the building blocks our antioxidant enzymes need, they reduce the triggers that generate excess ROS, and they support the overall function of our protective systems like SOD and CT.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, our sources also mentioned nutraceuticals, specific supplements. How do they fit into this picture? Are they like a more targeted approach?
You could think of it that way, yes. Nutraceuticals can offer a way to directly boost specific antioxidant levels or support particular pathways involved in fighting oxidative stress.
Okay, so which ones are relevant here?
Well, one major player is glutathione. It's often called the body's master antioxidant
Why is that?
because it's incredibly potent at neutralizing ROS directly, but it also helps recycle other antioxidants like vitamin C and E, and it's crucial for the function of certain antioxidant enzymes. A 2011 study by Lindsay showed glutathione supplementation improved sperm motility and reduced DNA damage.
Okay, glutathione. What else?
Vitamin C is another classic antioxidant. It's water-soluble, great at scavenging ROS in the fluids of the body, and it helps protect sperm DNA. Plus, it works synergistically with vitamin E. A 2016 study by Amati found vitamin C improved sperm parameters.
And vitamin E itself.
Vitamin E is fat-soluble, so it's particularly good at protecting those fatty cell membranes we talked about, preventing that lipid peroxidation. This helps lower MBA levels. An older study from 1996 by Suleiman showed it improved sperm motility.
Right, protecting the membranes. What about coenzyme Q10 or CoQ10? I hear about that for energy.
Exactly. CoQ10 is vital for energy production within the mitochondria, the powerhouses of the cell. Sperm need a huge amount of energy to swim, but CoQ10 is also a powerful antioxidant, protecting mitochondria and membranes. A 2013 meta-analysis by La Fuente confirmed its benefits for sperm concentration and motility.
Okay, lots of good ones. Any others stand out?
Two more key minerals often mentioned are selenium and zinc.
How do they help?
Selenium is absolutely essential. It's a core component of the enzyme glutathione peroxidase, which is a major player in our antioxidant defense network. Good selenium levels are linked to better sperm motility, as shown in a 2011 study by Muslimi.
And zinc.
Zinc is also crucial. It's needed for the proper function of SOD, one of our key protective enzymes. It also plays a role in stabilizing sperm DNA. A 2016 study by Fala showed zinc supplementation helped improve sperm motility.
Wow, okay. So each of these nutraceuticals seems to have a specific role, either directly fighting ROS or helping our own defense systems work better.
That's the essence of it. They either act as direct ROS scavengers, or they provide essential components for our natural antioxidant enzymes, or they protect specific cellular structures.
So if we step back and look at the big picture, acupuncture, herbs, diet, lifestyle, nutraceuticals, why do they all seem to point towards helping fertility in this context? What's the common thread?
It really all comes back to restoring that critical balance between ROS production and antioxidant defense. Yeah. When ROS levels get too high, which we see reflected in things like elevated MDA, it leads to damaging oxidative stress that harms sperm and eggs. Our bodies rely on SOD and C to keep that in check.
Okay.
So things like acupuncture and certain herbs seem to work, at least in part, by reducing the overall oxidative stress load, perhaps by improving circulation or boosting antioxidant enzyme activity, like those Sederman and Tavilzada studies suggested.
Right.
Diet and lifestyle changes directly impact the equation. They provide the antioxidant nutrients needed for SOD and C to function, and they help us avoid things that generate excessive ROS, as highlighted by researchers like Salisuetos.
Makes sense.
And then the nutraceuticals like glutathione or vitamin C offer a more direct boost, either by neutralizing ROS themselves or by enhancing our inherent defenses, leading to improvements like those seen in the Lenzi and Amani studies.
So different paths, but all leading towards protecting those reproductive cells by managing oxidative stress.
Exactly. They all aim to tip the balance back towards protection and away from damage.
This has been incredibly insightful. It really connects a lot of dots, seeing how MDA acts as that warning sign of rust.
The damage marker.
And how SOD and catalase are the vital protectors.
Yeah.
Understanding that balance and the oxidative stress that results when it's off seems absolutely fundamental for fertility.
It really is. That oxidative stress impacting sperm and egg cells is a major factor we need to consider in reproductive health.
So the key takeaway here seems to be that there are strategies supported by research that can potentially help restore this balance, whether it's acupuncture, herbs, foundational diet and lifestyle shifts, or targeted nutraceuticals.
Right. They all offer potential pathways to lower that MDA damage marker and bolster our antioxidant defenses like SOD and CR.
And the ultimate goal of all these approaches really is to foster healthier, higher quality sperm and eggs.
Precisely. Which in turn should improve the chances of successful conception and healthy pregnancy development, as the studies we've touched on suggest.
This has given me, and hopefully you listening, a lot to think about. It's quite empowering to understand these mechanisms.
Definitely.
So for you, our listener, maybe take a moment to consider which of these strategies we've discussed today feels most relevant or interesting for your own journey or your own health focus. Perhaps it's diving deeper into antioxidant-rich foods, or maybe looking into acupuncture or discussing specific supplements with a knowledgeable practitioner. Hopefully, this deep dive has given you a solid starting point for that further exploration, and maybe sparked some questions for healthcare professionals who specialize in these areas. Thank you for joining us.